What's the worst facial hairstyle you had?
Ooh, chin strap.
Have you seen my
Definitely
face?
just a mustache.
Uh,
Man, I was very excited to do this podcast. That answer just went so many different directions. No, let's not get into that. But let's get into it.
Boy, you asked the question.
I didn't even think of an answer.
Not
You
like
weren't even
seriously.
prepared.
Do you have an answer now?
I just said maybe just the stash.
Okay, so same as
yeah.
That's
Ahmed.
what I was trying to say.
You remember that one time we all did just stashes for Eid? That's
Yeah.
why it was the worst.
Sometimes it depends on the style of the mustache, right? Like if it's like looking like that middle school sort of phase where it's just the whiskers, that's not good. If
Right.
it's like nicely
yeah.
done, like our
Like me.
dads, they have pretty nice
Okay, yeah,
mustaches.
they look a nice thick.
Yeah, I feel like we're at a stage now where we can grow a nice mustache if we wanted to. You're rocking a nice twirly one right now.
Thank you.
So the-
Like, if you look at
Looking-
me, I'm like the rock bottom of where you want to be at. Like, it's like someone who like stayed in middle school like 5 years too much.
The funny thing about this question is Neha actually sent this in, Frost's sister, and she actually said, I thought of it because of Ahmed, what he's doing right now.
Dang, low-key shade. Worst mustache you ever seen.
But I dig it. I dig Ahmed.
What do you
man,
guys
it's
think about a
always
chin
cool.
strap?
No.
Leave it in 9th grade football.
You've done that?
I think
I don't know if it was like a full-on chin strap, but
I think we
just
all did it.
I think chin strap is just
I
one of
did
the
it at one
ugliest facial hair things you could do.
I think we all did it back in like
People tend to go
did
towards
it
a
at one
mustache,
point.
but
Yeah.
like mustaches aren't like I don't really feel any type of way towards them. A chin strap, I'm just like I
Garden M's
don't
do it
like that.
best.
I don't
Okay.
like that. You might as well throw on the Echo Unlimited with the baggy jean shorts
Might as well put on like a red
And
fantasy hat
oversized.
like an elf and just like
And-
stand like a garden gnome.
and work at Lids.
Look at lids.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to an episode of Strange Flavors. My name is Shimmer.
For us.
I'm Ahmed.
And
What's
on the
up?
guest
Oh, that's all I'm gonna do is it. My bad. Go ahead.
on the show today as a guest co-host we have Joey Dixon, aka J Dog.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back.
So you've actually been on the podcast before,
Yeah, it's been a while.
Hold on,
and
let-
you've been asking for a while.
I got to do my intro.
Oh, sorry.
and this is brought to you by Alif Theory. You can email us at strangeflavorspodcast@gmail.com if you have music or stories or questions, etc. We are also on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can also watch this podcast on YouTube, and we forgot to put the sign up, but it's okay. You can imagine the sign up being there.
I actually don't have the flash
Heck
drive
yeah.
that usually has the sign because my dad took it.
Oh, dang. So
'Cause it has all of my-
blame his dad.
It's all my legally downloaded movies on there.
What's his email?
Lamau.
Legally? Legally?
Yeah, legally.
Oh. cool.
Send a strongly worded email to Frost's dad since he stole our sign. And
Well, you gonna link his handle?
that's what I was asking for.
Alright.
And then, what else?
Our social media,
Yeah.
you hit that already.
I hit that already. Dang it.
We
I'm
got
rusty.
merch. We
Yeah,
got merch out there on the on our website, which is linked in the description below. If you click on Redbubble or Society 6, you can pick up something nice, including some stickers, shirts, all types of different merch. We got coasters.
Coasters, yeah.
The coasters
Y'all
are
got
pretty sick,
coasters,
right?
Yeah.
pretty
Also,
cool.
dang it, I forgot what I was gonna say again.
What
Keep
is
thinking
happening
about it.
Oh,
today?
okay.
It's one of those days. for me, isn't it?
We're on all, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there. We're on Stitcher.
Yes.
We're on Apple Podcasts, and leave us a review. We love those
SoundCloud?
reviews. It really helps us out. SoundCloud, we're on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And Spotify too. So if you listen to
Ooh.
music there, you can also listen to your favorite podcast, Strange Flavors, there
And
too.
guys, we're over 500 subscribers on YouTube.
Swell.
Keep them coming in, and tell your friends about us if you like watching us rather than listening to us only. That's really helpful, and we're gonna keep this going. We try to upload as often as we can, and bring in exciting guests who have cool stories.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Amber's not here with us today.
Right, and that's what I was gonna get to about Joey. Joey is actually Amber's replacement today, so he's,
Yeah.
he's gonna serve as a guest co-host since he's been a guest before.
Do you have
I'm just a
Cardi B?
temp.
Do you have Cardi B news of the week?
Um,
Do you like Cardi B?
I mean, I saw that she was in the trailer of Hustlers, the movie coming out. That new trailer.
That was your
With
card.
Jennifer
That was the
Lopez.
news. That was
That
the
was-
news.
that was the
That
news.
was it.
Hey, that's
I,
news.
I didn't know
That's
about
It's Cardi
that.
B.
So thank
Yeah, I
you.
could say it's like a whole like if like the way I look at it, it just kind of looks like stripper version of like Spring Breakers with like Selena Gomez and everything, but it has like Jennifer Lopez.
No,
Okay.
this isn't how Amber would do it. You don't
This
have.
is-
You don't
I don't
have
think you're doing
news
it
of the
right.
week. Anyways, Amber
I'm just
sends.
saying.
I like this.
Amber sends her love on the podcast. She's too famous for the podcast currently, so
Yeah.
wish her luck in all of everything that she's doing. But she'll be returning soon, unless she's too famous.
Good
Yeah.
luck, Amber. I'll do my best to fill in.
But yeah, Joey, you've been on the podcast before. How has
It's-
everything been since you've been on?
It's been a long while, but I mean, things have been going good. I'm in my last year at Towson.
Can you tell everybody what you
What-
kind of do and what you are?
As FARAS introduced me as, I'm Joey, aka J Dog, aka JD the King, aka Slim White Jesus. But I'm known for making music. Used to be making funny vines with my boy Sam, but nowadays I'm behind the boards
Were
now.
you like
So
were you like Vine famous?
I mean, kind of Vine famous. I mean, I was always
What-
on
what is
Sam. She
kind
never
of?
tagged me,
Like
so like I
53
never
followers?
really made it. I mean, I never really made it because Sam always forgot to tag me. So
Oh.
I mean,
But you helped
but,
him out.
I helped him out. Yeah, I definitely helped him
Dang.
out. But recently I've been just behind the boards. I've been doing a lot with like film.
Behind the
Um,
boards?
Yeah, just
What does that mean?
producing, just
I don't know what that
producing and
means.
everything.
Oh,
Producing just instrumentals, just making my own.
And killing it at Wawa.
And, yeah, always killing it at Wawa. But I actually kind of ventured out to GameStop now too, so I'm killing it. over there.
Ventured out to
Ventured
GameStop.
out.
I like that.
There's just like like through the Spotlight at Towson U, which is like a student organization, like / club. They have this like their own little like startup production company and everything called Creator Source Studios. I've been doing a lot of work there. They made me a project lead on their comedy channel, so I've been like,
Whoa.
whoa, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah,
Is that what
it's a
you're-
lot of it's a lot more
Joey,
pressure
who's
than it
the
sounds.
who's the one guy you really wanted to play in a movie?
White boy? Are you talking about the White Boy Rick thing?
Yeah.
Oh, dude! I submitted my video to the one principal. I'm like this one the principal of Ben Franklin High School in Baltimore. I'm good friends with his son Alex and Riley. His sons Alex and Riley, and actually their family in general. And Riley was actually the one. You know Riley. Yeah, you know Riley.
Yeah,
Tackle it.
we know Riley.
So like he told me like, hey dude, there's casting going on for White Boy Rick. Do like a 1 minute like casting video, and I'll send it to me, and I'll send it to my dad. Turns out like his dad never sent the video
What was the movie
never-
about though? Like what was the
about White Boy Rick.
Like
it's
who
the
is
movie
it?
that came out in theaters.
Is it with Matthew McConaughey and the kid
Wait,
that
so you
played
would've-
Billy in Power
So
Rangers.
you would have been the kid.
You would have been.
I
the-
would have been White Boy Rick. That was the role I was auditioning for.
Dang.
And why do you think you fit that role?
Well, I just kind of have that.
You really
No,
wanted it. I just remember.
I
you
really wanted it.
wanting
It's like I have that. Like I don't like White Boy Rick. I did like the research into like the character, like into who he was as a person. He had like an I don't give a crap attitude, which I naturally have, just cause like I just kind of came up with it and adapted to having that kind of like mentality and everything. Just cause like I always like was in the inner city and everything, just like either with my dad or with family. So it's like I always kind of like I had to like adapt. It was kind of like an adaptation kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like I felt like that could contribute to like kind of me getting the part and everything. And I learned through just like stories from like Wawa and everything. The kid was just like the guy that actually got the part for White Boy Rick got in trouble the day he got casted for having like I think a couple dime bags at Dundalk High School, and he's just like, hey,
Oh, so the kid that played him is from Maryland.
He's from Dundalk.
Oh wow.
So they were
wow.
casting
That's
crazy.
in Maryland.
Yeah, and it's funny because this one customer came in. He's like, "Oh yeah, dude." He rented out like a whole theater in Dundalk and had like a private screening of the movie.
That's
like,
actually
pretty
pretty
cool.
fire.
That
That's
is.
cool.
So if that was you, I would love to like
Go.
I would have loved.
Go
I
and
would
have
have brought you guys with me,
and
honestly.
have like a.
You would have worked with Matthew McConaughey, like
dude, like
that's
that's
crazy.
what I'm saying. Like I would have loved it. Like
I would have loved like a Harco showcase of Joey in this first movie.
it would have been. It would have
Rent out
been
the whole flagship cinemas.
Oh, dude, I would rent out Flagship. I would rent out Regal. I would even rent out Horizon just so we can kind of get some like for those who are like 21 and older. I would definitely try to get some like get some beverages in
Joey
there for
cares-
everybody.
J-Dog cares about the community.
I'm for the culture and I'm also for the community. Like I'm also like another thing on my list, like I've been playing like a lot of like leagues and everything, and one of them is through like
Playing leagues.
my
You mean,
like
basketball.
like honestly, actually, it's been more like a men's softball, just because like there's certain like baseball leagues. Well,
Oh,
like
so like
well,
sports leagues.
it's through
like
like
sports leagues. Is that what you're talking
well,
about?
like my religion's Christianity, so like I play through my church and everything, and like what we do aside from playing the game that we all came up like kind of loving, we also give back to the community. And what we did like recently, like we play on the edge, we're the Edgewood team, and we recently just like within the community we play in, someone like recently just lost their life. So what we've been doing, we've been trying to like contribute as much as we can, kind of like trying to like get back to the community as much as we can, because what's getting something without giving back, you know?
Bars.
Right.
Bars.
Joey, you do give a crap.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm the most.
he
Like,
lied.
I never show it. I'm just like really the most caring person in the world. Like if someone's ever in a jam, I'll do my best
What's
to
the
help
I don't
them
give
out.
a crap attitude like about?
Oh, like
what
if
people
someone
think about you, or like what? Where does that?
it's
where
a
does
little
that fit
bit of
in?
that. So like
Because
I don't
before
give
we
a-
were talking
Yeah.
to you about like movies and stuff, you're really passionate about that and your field in music and all that.
Yeah.
You care about the community. So where does the I don't give a crap?
The I don't give a
attitude
crap attitude comes into a lot of like aspects of my life. So like it started out with, I think, just like people in general, because I used to be like bullying was like had like a huge impact on my life, just because I was on the victim spectrum of that
Sure.
for like the longest time, and eventually it kind of like fortified my mental toughness. So like it kind of like helped out to like prepare me for what happened in high school, and like throughout high school and even into like the early years of my college, just like my college life and career and everything, just like kind of like people would love to just kind of beat down my spirit, or at least try to beat down my spirit. And I'm just like, it's like, especially like this one guy, like, and as far as I know with like music and everything, he's only had like one hit and it wasn't even that big. And it's just like, I mean, who are you, man? I mean, if I go out in public, people are still going to recognize me. They're still going to bring up Still Can't Dunk. They're still going to bring up like
These are
just
songs that you
yeah,
know.
just like previous songs I made. They'll bring up like my old music videos, my old tracks, everything. Just, or even just like seeing me in like some of Riley's videos he used to do back in the day and everything like that. And then whenever I bring up the guy's name and everything, no one ever hears about him. And I just like kind of just like, dude, and then whenever he tries to say something about it, it's just like, really, man?
So
like,
it comes from like a place of like people that doubt you or that have
yeah.
And if you want to hear more about Joey's story, you can go back to that podcast that we had together and listen to it. But I can say that I can definitely attest to Joey's spirit. He has like the most charismatic personality, and thank you for being on the podcast today. We have some
No
topics we want to
problem.
hit, and you can definitely weigh in on
big
all
time.
of that.
I like this.
So real quick, first of all, I want to give an update on the Changa family who I brought up on the podcast, I think 2 episodes ago, and I started a GoFundMe for them because they were moving, and we were able to raise close to $3,000 with everybody's help. So I wanted to thank everybody who has contributed.
That's awesome.
It's really amazing, and I just spoke to Changa on the phone yesterday, and he or 2 days ago, and he's made it to Kentucky, and they're really happy, and they were just very thankful. He was speechless when I gave him the check, and it was an incredible moment.
That's
so
awesome.
I really want to thank everybody for helping out with that. Shamir, Emma, I think we got a little trip coming up this week, actually.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
We are going to the Six Side.
Toronto.
Six.
So we'll be in Toronto Thursday through Sunday, the 25th of July to the 28th, right? That's
Yeah.
right.
OVO.
So if you guys want to meet up, we'll try to have a little meetup with everybody that wants to come see us, and we'd love to meet you guys and take recommendations from you of what to check out.
So are you guys
I got
gonna
a question
put that
for you,
up on the
Faraz.
Ronopono Instagram, or were you guys gonna?
we'll like figure that out as a
okay.
marketing thing, like
Yeah.
afterwards, probably like, not on the
Marketing,
podcast.
PR.
I kind of gotta put this in there for us. What if while you're up there, you meet the Weeknd?
The
Because
Weeknd?
he is a pretty
Yeah,
sure
Nah,
he's a
bro,
pro.
let's go to
do.
Mav's
I don't know.
house.
I don't know if Weeknd is the one to meet. Like,
I don't
like
know.
I
What if
love
you
I
meet-
love the
What if you
Weeknd.
meet Drake?
It's Drake would be fun to meet.
Yo,
I think.
Nav.
Drake.
Nav
Nav?
is.
Would
I
you
think
bring
that
up
would
the
be
whole
fun.
like
That would be so
the
funny.
whole thing with the like the old face memes that are going around?
The
With, like
old face?
the like the picture like celebs are all putting with like their like face when they're
Oh,
like
the
40.
face app.
Yeah,
The
the face app. Yeah.
The face app.
What
I
about-
couldn't think of the app name off the top of my head.
It's talking about where you turn yourself
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
What about it?
like Drake. Like, can we just talk about how Drake's picture made him look barely like 5 years older? Like it just had like
Really?
maybe some gray scruff in the beard.
It
and was
matters.
just, like,
It matters about the quality of the photo too.
Yeah,
And
big time.
And how you're looking in the photo. You know, like there's so many factors to it. Some, like a photo that you'll do that is like not as good resolution, it'll make you look terrible.
Yeah.
So if it's a really high res,
big
when people are
time.
like, "Oh my God, you look amazing when you're older." Well, yeah, because like you took a really nice photo. Like that's how older. Like if you take a
got
picture
that
of
from
George
TMZ.
Clooney right now, he's gonna
Yeah.
look amazing, even though he's older.
I feel like with that app, they put like other celebrities onto your face. So like everybody looks like a certain celebrity. I've
you
noticed.
think so?
I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like
Really?
Drake ripped
You
his from
think?
TMZ.
I think so. Cause like, someone would be like, "Oh, you look like this person," and then like I'm looking at someone else. How come they look like this person? And I'm like, these are all like famous actors. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just really weird. But they don't usually look like that actor.
It's
uh,
it's really
Facts.
good though.
Yeah.
It does it really well, like compared to other apps and Snapchat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's been really.
Did you guys
good.
hear about the security, like
Yeah,
stuff
I
about
was
that
gonna
app?
say it's like
Oh,
a
the
Russian.
Russian?
That it's a Russian app
The
apparently, and they
Russians.
can take all
Yeah.
Your data.
your
Well,
data.
they have all our data. It's not they can
Stranger
take it, they already
Things,
have
buddy.
it.
This is some Stranger Things
Wait, so,
going
like,
on here.
So what's the deal with that? Like, they have all your photos. So then what could
They
they
can sell
possibly
it.
do with that?
They can sell it.
KGB, man.
Who
I'm
can
telling
sell
you.
it?
The
The
KGB.
app,
The
the
app.
company.
The
That's what
KGB.
like Facebook and some other. They literally
They can sell
info-
your photos.
They can sell your information. It's
Totally
just
the
data.
KGB.
They can sell your
It's
data.
And for the KGB, you think about it,
What?
just like some
What are you
central
saying?
adult. Honestly, they could
He's
like
on
honestly
some
give. They
conspiracy.
could. No, I mean it's just like a
Hold
thought
on, I'm
crossed
really
my
trying to
mind.
like understand this for a second.
It's
like,
just like a thought that
what's-
crossed my mind when I found out like the Russians might have been involved with that app. It's just like they could literally keep those like photos around just in case the U.S.
like,
tries
okay,
to
so-
infiltrate Russia with the KGB.
So they have what's the last word you said?
The KGB,
KGB. Like
What
what's
about them?
What is?
the KGB Russians,
I know,
No,
but like what are
that's
they
Cold
gonna?
War.
Okay, so
like
they
just
have,
in case like counterintelligence. Some
Okay,
counter-
so say they have your photos, right?
yeah,
If they have your photos, what like why does that matter?
in case you try
Have
to
you ever seen, like,
pull
the,
like
Hold on, I just want to hear.
in case you try to pull like some kind of James Bond like spy move with a Big Mama's house vibe.
Okay,
Like
I'm
you-
not pulling any like
No, I'm just saying like if a CIA tried to infiltrate
like for a
somebody
normal
as an older
person. Why does that
person.
matter? Can you guys help me out here? Do you know what I'm
Do you-
asking? Like how does this
I
affect
could
me as a
just be
normal person?
No,
spitballing
that's what I was
here.
gonna answer. So basically, they can take. So when they have data of your face, right? You know how you use face recognition to unlock your phone or do
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah.
So they can essentially get into your phone that way.
Okay.
The other way is.
And then do what?
Take your information. Take your data
Like my credit
from
cards
your phone.
and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
credit cards,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And,
And
then
then
also.
sell it to who?
Huh?
Sell it to who?
No,
willing
whoever
to buy.
wants it.
So would they sell the whole like database of information, or like, oh, this is FARAS' information?
They're not gonna say this is for us. They're probably gonna categorize
No, I'm saying like
it.
Probably
say,
go on
like,
the dark web.
Say it's like, oh, this is I don't know Lindsay Lohan's
Mhm.
iPhone, and
Yeah.
then obviously she's well known, so it's like, okay, I want her information.
I'm sure they can go ahead and
Why
they put it
Lindsay
up like,
Lohan?
hey, like you want the information.
I'm
people
just
will bid
asking
on
if
it.
this is like a real threat.
To play devil's advocate, every social media app you're on, they're selling your data right now.
No, that's what I'm
Facebook,
saying.
Instagram,
Right.
Twitter, even like your phone, your apps, like all these cookies that are on your not actual like physical cookies, but like cookies on your internet
Joey's got
browser.
cookies right there.
So the
They
biggest thing
smack
is,
too.
you guys
I'm
seen
gonna
those
let you
things
know.
that are called
Oh,
like
heck yeah.
deepfake videos? Have you
Go
guys
ahead.
ever seen that? So they're becoming more popular. So the problem is with those videos,
Oh,
Grab
if
that
someone
other
wants, they can
gosh.
take that data information that company has collected, so your facial recognition, and they can use that, and they can pretty much frame anyone. Like that whole thing with like deepfake videos.
Basically, they put on a
It's like-
face on
yeah.
some like
on a video
on a criminal
and
activity.
it's so hard to like differentiate a deep fake from the actual video.
They put your face on a criminal's,
Yeah,
like,
some
let's say
criminals
someone
like
robbed a bank.
robbing a
and then
bank.
I could get in trouble for that.
Yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
hard to like determine if it's actually you or like a deep fake, because the way they mask it on, it's like so good. So that's like one of the biggest concerns that they're having right now.
Mm.
Whole
And that's like one of the
identity
only
crisis.
ones, to be
But
honest.
personally, I think you're fine.
Yeah, I mean-
Two, like, what are they? You know, like, there's so
I'm
many things
probably
they
not.
can do with your data, but it could have been happening like the past 10 years, and I don't think this app's gonna be. And they only allow the photos that you put in, so they can act like every app. You can access your photos, right? Like if
Mhm.
you're, it's like a photo app, but this app you upload that photo, and that's any app. You only like upload a single photo.
Right. Okay.
I can
So-
hear you like chewing the cookies, bro. You're like,
Really? That actually just might be me like trying to like re-moisturize.
Are you guys
the inside of
going
my
to this
mouth.
Area 51 raid?
I mean, we have a pretty good. We have a pretty
great,
good
more
squad
government
on us.
conspiracies.
No. Because I mean, if you've been following the whole like Area 51 raid thing, think about it. We have Chuck Norris, we have Keanu Reeves, trying to back
Joey,
us
they're
up.
not going. What do you mean?
They're
not
like,
going
ready
there.
for the Area
okay,
51
everyone's just in
raids.
it for the hype. Everyone knows it's fake. There's probably going to still be people trying to go in, which
Like-
is very stupid because
Okay,
they
check this
literally,
out.
My
they
friends and I
literally
have
said,
actually been, like,
they're
having
arming it.
intellectual
Like, you're
debates
going to
about
get
this.
shot if you go over. Like,
Oh yeah, that's literally
So-
what my
No,
friend and I have been
unless
saying.
you
With,
Naruto run fast enough.
yeah, that's what my friend also brought up. Funny enough.
So on a like, say this, when's it supposed to happen? Is there like a set date?
September 20th.
Yeah,
Okay.
next month.
So say
2
people
months.
actually attempt this, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually looking into this, and I think the population of is it Las Vegas, where it's around,
Yeah.
mhm.
right, is like 2 million.
Nevada.
Right.
And they want like millions of people. I guess at least say they even get a million people, right?
Oof.
There's only one road that goes down that way towards the Area 51. If it's not like on maps and stuff, so you have to find it. So there are directions like you can find on Google on like how to get there, or whatever. Okay, so say
They should have done
a
it on
million
Independence
people
Day.
get together and they're like, okay, let's all go there. First of all, like going down one lane of traffic is gonna be really hard to storm or whatever. Okay, say you get there. There's tons of trucks waiting there that are like undercover or whatever, and military people waiting
Humvees.
for you,
The
and
Humvees.
they're gonna check you. So like you would all have to be there at the same time to like try to run
So-
past them.
Right.
Wouldn't
So
it be
the
so
point
safe,
is,
Say
the
you
point
get
is,
there.
go ahead.
After that, that's not even the actual like facility.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole radius is like that they're protecting. It's somewhere in there. So you have to find it, and it's going to take you hours to find that base.
Unless
and
you're Will
then-
Smith.
And Joey,
Dude, I'm sorry. Independence Day. He's
Will-
already been
Will
there.
Smith, Chuck Norris, none of these people are going.
Will Smith has already been to Area 51 according to Independence Day. I'm just saying. I'm gonna put that out there We'll put that out there. Just
Say you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after that, whatever they have there, apparently there's been a lot of nuclear testing there and lots of chemical weapons and
yeah.
things like that,
I
right?
believe that.
So if you get into the wrong area, you either die from that, if you make it all the way there, or you die by
It's a big if.
So
getting. I don't think they would shoot everybody.
So the way the way
Right?
that it's like
the way
set
that
up-
they do
no, no,
riots and stuff, even then when there's crowds,
So
they use like
Pellet guns.
Tear gas.
the
and-
tear gas and
they'll
stuff.
definitely use that stuff.
And like
here's the
rubber
thing.
pellets.
There, imagine this, like, so Area 51 is like, let's say a couple acres, whatever. Around it, Area 51 or that military base, there's a huge radius around it.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
Desert
mines
heat,
there.
too.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have different trip points where they literally send out, like, they do testing out there too, like military stuff like that every day. So like if, for instance, if they're testing and you're in the line of fire, you're gonna die. There's mines everywhere, like I said, and then on top of that, it's an Air Force base. They already like said, hey, we're gonna keep patrolling the area on that day, like constantly.
Also,
You're
you
gonna
would
get
need,
bombed.
You would
Like,
need like
what are you gonna
military
do?
people, or at least like people that have military intelligence to go in there. This is gonna be like a bunch of hippies and stuff that are not going in armed. I'm sure. Like
Let's make love,
And even
not
even
war
that, like
kind of
they're gonna storm in. They'll probably majority of them will die by the time they get there because they're gonna shoot them. They're not gonna be like they might tear gas and stuff, but then they're gonna end up shooting them.
do you,
if they
do
keep
you
trying to
guys
go
think it's a
in.
good idea?
What?
No.
To go in?
Like whoever made this.
It's a terrible
first of
idea.
all,
It was a joke.
They found the guy who like made it,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
they interviewed him, and he
Oh,
was
yeah,
just
I
like,
saw
"Oh, it's a
that.
joke." Like he didn't want to be interviewed, but
Yeah.
then he was like, "Okay, the government's gonna like come to my house soon."
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
so he was just like, "Yeah, it's a complete joke." But now he's like wearing around the Naruto headband and
Yeah.
stuff, and like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Was
why,
it the
like even in the
regular one or the
description,
Akatsuki headband?
the
it's
Akatsuki.
like
Oh yeah. No, he's lying.
even in the original description, he even wrote like, "Let's all Naruto run in." Like he's like, it was a joke from the beginning,
Yeah.
and he's like, he never imagined it would pick up this much.
It's kind of cool though that like it's actually a thing. Like
Yeah.
when we were kids, I would imagine different things like that all the time. Like, oh, what if everybody in the world jumped at the same time? But there's really like with the internet and stuff, there's really people putting together like random things like that and people participating. And I
Yeah.
think that there are going to be people that actually try to do this. And I don't think you should, although I'm also like kind of
to
curious
see what
like
would happen.
Because nobody knows what is there.
Well,
Do you think it could be aliens?
I mean,
Well,
I don't know, but
officially they said, what is it, a military testing base for prototype vehicles.
I don't think there's aliens there.
Yeah, I just like. It's,
I just don't see that being like. Why would you keep aliens there? Isn't that really bad? Like, remember in District 9? That's the movie, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Where they do like testing and stuff, and then the aliens turn against them, and like all those movies and stuff. I feel like that's. Imagine if we as humans got captured in another planet. We wouldn't feel
We had to
good about them. Like, we would want to.
I would want people to Naruto
That
run and
happened.
save me.
There's a movie.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
He's saying like there'd be a retaliation, you know,
Like,
like a
would
massive retaliation.
why would the government want to like hold
to learn and
aliens
like make like advanced weapons and make
through them
and maybe
like, use them?
too like if we found out about aliens, like
Yeah.
actually see them, new religions would start. We'd go crazy.
The Men in Black
New-
would be
You think
coming
people
for
would freak
everybody.
out?
Yeah, people would freak out. Like
The
whole
Men in
world-
Black would be at
Dude,
everyone's
also,
front door.
I think
Exactly.
the thing that you said about everyone jumping at the same time, we should make a Facebook event. I feel like, could you imagine like even like 1-2 million people in a localized area jumping all at the same time?
Actually, there's like YouTube videos that are like the What If channel and stuff that literally go over like, oh, what if we all did jump at the same time? So
Yeah.
that's
It's like if your friend
That's
jumps
really
off the bridge,
satisfying
would you
to
jump
watch
too?
that
It's
stuff.
like heck yeah.
You watch Vsauce?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
Vsauce,
lot of
okay.
stuff on Vsauce. We got the cookies on deck. We were just talking about internet cookies, but I
Yeah,
wanted to talk
we got
about-
legit chocolate
we
chip
got
cookies.
real chocolate chip cookies here.
They delicious.
There's a question that comes from our friend Max, and he wanted me to ask this on the podcast. Is being a foodie a hobby?
Well, what defines a foodie?
Well, I guess someone
Your
who
basic
is
foodie, like like Instagram foodies, like they take pictures of food.
Oh, those types.
Those types.
Oh,
I don't
God.
think that you can even say that, because not
Just
all
someone-
foodies, quote unquote,
have
have
or
Instagram or
doing-
something.
Yeah, yeah.
like
That's
do
not,
that.
but I'm
He
saying
was
like
like
those
going
are
after
the-
the people
like
that would
eating
like take
for
pictures of
enjoyment
their,
or eating
As a
like,
hobby, literally,
hobby.
being a foodie is like
is eating food a hobby? But
yeah,
basically that's the
basically
question, yeah.
that's what that's what it
mean,
is. What do you guys think?
Dude, we do that like every day, every night.
Is it a hobby?
But we're also satisfying our hunger.
it depends.
Yeah. Mm.
Some
no,
people.
No, I wouldn't say that all
Not
the
all
time
the
because
time.
I mean,
a
it
lot
is
of
and
times
it isn't.
we egg each other to eat more and like try different things, and we're far past full. We actually have a name for ourselves. We call ourselves the KO boys
Yeah.
because we eat till we KO.
I'm
Yeah.
actually
I mean,
team
personally-
hobby. Foodie being
It's a hobby. Yeah.
You think it is?
I think it
Yeah,
is
I
and it
agree
isn't.
with
It
that.
depends on like if like personally like if you like to cook and you enjoy cooking, then you're a foodie because it's your hobby. You like to
But-
cook just because you like to
No,
cook.
no, but
and,
that's
like,
cooking.
Cooking. We're talking about just eating.
oh, just
Like
eating.
just eating. Like I'm gonna go out just to eat. Like you're going out just to eat.
I don't think it's
nothing
really
else.
a hobby.
Because
though.
what you had mentioned earlier,
you just
like
hungry.
Instagram,
You just don't want to
right?
make yourself dinner.
I brought that up and he was like, no, because that's blogging, which that's fair because then
Yeah.
you're a technically on Instagram, if you're taking pictures of food and
You're a
you're writing
food
about whatever,
blogger?
you're a blogger, and that happens to be your topic, right? If you're on YouTube and you're doing a mukbang or something, then you're like you're
actually
making
just
YouTube
edited a
videos.
video
You're
for
not
that.
just eating food.
Yeah.
However, like the way that Emma's describing it, like sometimes we as like friends do go out like. And especially when we travel and stuff, because I brought that up too. I was like, what if you go and travel and like, you know, you go to these places to eat the food? He's like, well, then your hobby is traveling. But like sometimes I don't think that we're
So-
like,
But we
The-
don't travel for the food. We travel for the location. Then it's like, all right, what are the cool places to eat there? Because we want to try those different things to eat.
Like
Does
LA
that make sense?
Roscoe's.
Also the definition of a hobby is something you do a lot on your leisure time.
Right.
Mm.
And if our hunger is already satisfied, we're like, hey, like what's a nice dessert place to eat, right? Dessert doesn't, you're not fully eating the dessert just to satisfy your hunger. You want the
it's
taste.
not a necessity.
It's not a necessity.
Which
So
I think that was his point. He was trying to say like, food is a necessary thing. Like eating is like sleeping.
yeah.
Like napping is not a hobby. Or is it? I don't know.
Let's
I mean,
not go
depends.
there. But like
It's necessary for
Dessert.
I'm
You're
trying
saying
to
dessert.
I'm trying to think of like something else that you need but can also be a hobby. That's like clear.
Well,
Shopping?
No, shopping is not
You
a.
don't really
It's not
need
a
to
need.
shop. I mean,
No, I think sleeping would be a good equivalent
Yeah.
because you need to sleep, you need
Like-
to eat.
You need 8 hours of sleep.
But
Right?
But napping, like
But-
say you're like, oh, it's cozy, like let's take a nap together.
Okay.
Is that a hobby? I don't know.
listening to music would definitely be like
That's not a need though. We're talking about needs.
I mean, also depends what kind of music you're listening to, because there are like a lot of people.
Joey, you don't need to listen to music.
You need to
You can survive without music.
You need to listen to Nas.
You have to sleep.
I stay listening to Nas.
You have to sleep. You have to eat.
So about the sleep thing, like
You have to stay
they say
hydrated.
you need 8 hours of
Gatorade.
sleep, right? After 8 hours, you start taking naps throughout the day because you want to, and it like you feel good or whatever the case is, right?
Or you're just tired.
So you don't need that extra sleep. You want to sleep. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That was literally me today, but I had to hold
You're
off.
tired
for
though,
Lion King.
right? Like you don't when you're eating throughout the day, you don't need to like have another meal per se because you don't need it to survive.
Right.
That's how society moves.
You don't need a nap to survive. You need to sleep to survive.
And stay hydrated.
Right, but you don't need. That's what I'm saying. You don't need like if I eat, for example, when we're fasting, right? We know that we can survive the day without the food.
Right.
So obviously you can survive. We're not only eating to survive.
Yeah.
Like that's not how we live.
Right.
Animals in the jungle and stuff are eating literally to survive.
Yeah.
Literally.
Also, what differentiates like getting better, higher quality food, right? If it wasn't like a hobby, right? We just get the basic form of
Right.
food,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We
yeah.
just get like a plain hot dog,
that's
right?
true.
So what makes us
Or a
go and
hamburger.
get that like, or a hamburger, right?
Like pay more.
What makes us go to Five Guys and pay like $10 for a nicer burger?
The one
right?
for like like a certain type of flavor. Like some people
yeah.
like spices, so they'll go with like something with jalapenos on it, or someone wants like a sweeter sauce, so they'll go for like a rodeo burger.
Joey's really having a TED talk over here.
Exactly, and that's my point, right? You can go to a cheaper McDonald's version, right?
Or Wendy's.
But if it's or Wendy's, but if it's like your hobby, right? You're going out to find that like that flavor. Like
that
you want that flavor, you want
Arby's,
that taste.
They got the
So
meat.
I don't like
conclusion is
Arby's.
it is a hobby. Right?
I'm gonna say it's a hobby.
It's a hobby. Yeah, I agree.
It's a hobby.
Okay, cool.
Cool,
Well,
cool.
sorry, Max. 'Cause
You're wrong.
But I do see where he's coming from.
I can see his perspective on the.
Like I think most people that claim they're foodies are not. That's not their hobby.
They're fugazi.
Most people,
If you're like literally like if I were to ask you like what do you do for fun and stuff, and you're just like, oh, I'm a foodie, I would kind of get
I'd be
annoyed
like,
too.
yeah.
Bro.
If I said like,
my
oh, I
reaction
like
right
to
there.
go try different restaurants, you'd be like, oh, that's awesome.
If being a foodie is your only hobby, I might have a problem with that.
No, if someone literally
that's what
looked
I'm
me
gonna say.
square in the face and said that being a foodie is their hobby, I'd probably do like what James Harden did to that one reporter, just like give him a look and just start walking right away from him. As possibly as fast as I possibly could.
So we were actually talking about this before, and The Lion King recently came out.
Yeah, just saw
I'm not.
that.
We're not gonna like go in depth about the actual the new movie
I literally
or any
just saw it.
spoilers, even though it's a remake. So you
Yeah,
guys
don't
can
spoil
guess what
Just
happens.
saw it, loved it.
Shamir, you actually don't. You said you're not really into like the Disney remakes. You didn't watch
Well,
Aladdin. You didn't watch Lion King.
it's the reviews.
So you're like a review person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I see good reviews, on average, I will always most likely see it. Like if it's like above a 90%. If it's lower than that, but I'm still into the topic, I will see it. But Lion King, it just seemed too close. Aladdin, all my friends went to see it without me, so.
I didn't even want to see Aladdin.
The way he said
Personally,
it,
I
seemed
didn't
like he
want to see
wanted to watch
Aladdin.
it.
I never wanted to see Aladdin. Even when they gave out the cast list and everything, I never wanted to go see it.
Well, you
because-
said why?
Well, it's because like every time, like Aladdin was one of the most watched Disney movies I had during my childhood, and everything. And then that also like transpired to me playing like Kingdom Hearts on my PlayStation growing up as a kid. And every time I heard Genie, like it's like the voice of Robin Williams. Like it's just super funny down there guy. And I'm like a huge Robin Williams fan, so I can't just.
So you're one of those people that are like, oh, my
I'm like,
childhood.
it's my
I don't want it
childhood kind of
ruined.
being. It's like my childhood getting ruined. But I said the same thing about Jumanji, when like they re-released
Yeah,
it with
it's a
like The
different
Rock.
movie.
And, yeah, but it's like it's kind of like a similar concept though.
But that's what Will Smith is. He's a totally different genie. You won't even
So,
think about
yeah.
Robin Williams when you think about this
Yeah,
one.
and I'm not even trying to like crap on
Which Robin is like the GOAT,
performer.
right?
Robin
That's
is
not what I'm
he is
saying.
the GOAT. I mean, he is the GOAT when it comes to like portraying Genie, because I feel like he just did it perfectly. It's like it's his whole like,
So, like,
take on it.
On
And
that,
that's-
like, I was gonna say, like, The Lion King. I made it like I think we discussed it before.
We
too.
watched it together, actually.
Yeah. So and
Why did you want to see it?
without me.
So he's so mad at all his friends are watching Disney movies without him.
Beyonce
No,
still
because
can't
like
act.
I love Lion King. It's my favorite Disney movie of all time.
Okay.
And like when I
great
saw
movie,
the
great soundtrack.
like the trailer, I was so excited because I was like, oh my god, like you always like, for some reason when I was like, even when I was a kid, I was like, dang, it would have been awesome if this was like real life. You know what I mean?
I was happy
And
when
not
James
just
Earl Jones
animated.
came back.
And when I saw the trailer, I was like, it just looks so beautiful. And I was like, I have to go see it.
I think
and
what you're saying is like the
I
same
wasn't-
story for a lot of people is like the Lion. A lot of people say that the Lion King is their favorite movie of all time. It made their childhood, and now it's been, I think, over 20 years for the remake.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of what my question is, like, what is so special about that?
The cast.
about
think
the
James
Lion
Earl
King?
The Lion
Jones coming
cast?
back as
I think
Mufasa.
for me it was the
Best part.
visuals.
So you're really into like the nostalgia of it. You said you
Yeah,
mentioned
like-
Robin Williams, and then now you're mentioning
Yeah,
James
like,
Earl Jones as
James
Mufasa.
Earl Jones was the original Mufasa, and he came back to reprise his role, and I really liked that. When I saw that the cast list for it and everything, like back when the trailer was starting to come out, I saw Beyonce was gonna play Nala. And every time I think of Beyonce, I think one thing: she can't act. And I was like, but
What
when
else has Beyonce been in
Besides
besides Pink Panther? Is the only
Obsessed?
one
I think Obsessed with Idris Elba.
I haven't seen that. Okay.
It's a good movie.
I think
It
I know
was
what you're
okay.
talking
She
about.
did okay. She did okay in that. I'm not gonna crap on her
You just
too
said she
bad for
can't
that.
act, and now you're like, she's
Well,
okay.
like she was okay in that, but
Compared
overall
to her
she
singing,
can't act.
compared to her music.
Yeah, she
she's
can't.
nowhere
She's better
for
at doing
acting.
music than doing like roles in movies. But like when it came down to like when I just saw The Lion King today, like and I like to kind of like listen to Beyonce, and she's like she barely had to try. All she had to do was like read some lines, and she did really good as a voice actor.
Yeah, but she was singing too. She did.
Yeah, and like she like her and Gambino are like just like a really good duo, and I honestly think they really got that right on that. They did it right on the money. And John Oliver was just funny as Zazu.
Well, so like Lion King, it holds this special place in a lot of people's hearts, but
Jeremy Irons should have came back.
I think that when you break down like what makes the Lion King, it's actually like
Jeremy
it could
Irons is
ruin
good.
a lot of people's like thoughts on it. Which, like, first of all, Disney, advertised it as an original story, original movie when it first came out, and it's not.
It's like a Shakespearean play.
Yeah, right. It's like Hamlet.
Yes, like
But
literally
also,
Hamlet.
there's a Japanese version of the Lion King which came out before. It's
the
called
white with the white
Kimba.
Yeah, I saw that too. That one
Kimba?
was good
Kimba,
too.
yeah.
No, it was good.
So
It was
that's-
really,
that's-
really
I
good.
know, but Disney ripped off like Simba.
Yeah,
and there's
exactly.
Simba.
So like Kimba is a really beloved movie, and that white lion is like everywhere in Japan, and like it's a
Yeah.
mascot for one of their baseball teams too.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
after the creator died
time.
is when the Lion King came about, and they like never acknowledged that like that's like where it comes from. And if you look at it, like the screenshots from that movie
The story
and compare it to
line.
the Lion King, it's
And-
crazy how much that
the
they
family
really took from it.
structure,
Wow.
the enemies, everything is like very very similar.
Yeah.
I remember I actually saw Kimba after I watched Lion King,
Uh-huh.
and I for the longest time I thought
You
they were ripping
copied.
off.
Yeah, you
Lion
would think
King.
so, right? You would think so.
Yeah, and then later I found out I was like, oh wow.
There's
this
actually
is
a
weird.
sim-
Well,
uh,
Kimba didn't have Elton John doing the soundtrack though, so I mean,
Yeah, I mean
give some
that's
credit,
that's the
man.
magic of it, right? Like when you have Disney, the money that Disney has, you can
Well,
throw
yeah, Elton
literally
John.
Beyonce in it.
Or like
Um,
honestly, Elton John was like the first one he had, then like Beyonce,
Right.
Donald Glover.
And there was a
All
Simpsons
that.
episode where like
Yeah, I think I know what
he-
you're talking about.
like they have Mufasa in the clouds, and he's like Kimba. I mean Simba. So like they make fun of it. Also, like a lot of people don't like when I say this, but Scar is like my favorite character from Lion King. Like since
Which one, the original or the new one?
Original. I don't like him in the new one. It's like
Oh, dude,
it's a
there was
disappointment.
a really
love
controversial
Scar.
like scene from the first one that involved Scar.
But just because like his look, and it represents like
Jeremy Irons did great.
real. I don't know what you keep saying. You're
Like
just,
Jeremy
whispering random
Irons.
things.
Jeremy Irons was the original like voice of Scar. He
Okay,
like,
yeah, he was
Alfred,
a-
yeah,
Oh,
Alfred.
he actually did the original?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
wow.
he was the original voice of Scar.
I didn't know that.
The more you know.
Wait, so it's the same guy in
No,
the
it's
new
not.
one?
In the new one, it's the guy. I can't. I
it's not
always
the same
botch
one.
his name, and I
Yeah, but
swear I'm not
the
even
original,
tempted.
like
Okay.
he's a big actor now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like huge
Yeah.
actor.
But the way that like the lines are set up, Scar is actually the superior line, because you know how he has like that fur on his legs or his knees or whatever.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So that makes him like
the alpha.
the alpha or whatever,
Yeah.
and Mufasa actually doesn't have that. Simba does, but Mufasa doesn't. And also
Because he's the oldest sibling.
because Mufasa dies and Simba lives on, Simba would actually have gotten kicked out of like the pride anyways. And what happens is that when Scar becomes the king in like a real setting of
He would have killed all the cubs.
he would have killed all the cubs. He would have
Yeah.
eaten all of them. And I thought that was like really funny. Also,
you know, I was gonna say when we were watching the actual movie, all those things in like real life, what would happen? I was like really hitting the plot holes. Like, no, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But I was like really trying to still enjoy it, and I was like, I don't know if I can.
also Nala and Simba are half siblings.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
was about
that's
to say,
kind of
like,
weird.
I only see one like besides Scar, I only see like one male
And
lion.
so
Like,
Scar really
where are all
saves some
these cubs
incest
coming
going
from?
on.
So
Saying.
the other thing is like
Sharing is
Nala-
caring, I guess. You know.
yeah, and
Yeah.
no, not to his comment. No, not to his comment. I was not even paying attention to what he was saying. But I was gonna say since
It's like
Mufasa
that.
is like the lead lion, all the cubs are his. So that's kind of weird.
Right.
She probably wouldn't even been like half. Probably
there's
it's
some
probably
West
his actual
Virginia stuff
sister.
going on.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like he would have had multiple kids with all of them, not just like she's my wife and that's it.
But my man has the black mane, like that, and that also represents like a superior lion. The
The
female
darker the
lions,
mane.
they're called lionesses or whatever.
Yeah, that's
I don't know,
fine.
but
Yeah, in the shadows of
they
the elephant
prefer the
graveyard.
darker mane. So they're just trying to look at
It's
like,
because-
like Mufasa represents a light skin, and that's what the world cares about. Like screw that. Now Scar's the goat. That's what I'm saying to that.
But even in the remake, he wasn't like in the animated. He was like darker. He wasn't like that in this one. It was like everyone
Didn't
was
have
the
no
he
same
was just
tone.
like beat up and skinny and
and like frail. He didn't even have like the really scar.
Like he looked like he survived
And
like
it's just
15
like-
years of Shawshank and came back
So
home and
actually
was
they
like the most
addressed that
hated
too.
person on the cloud.
He said in the live action, he said that, oh, you're stronger, and he said that he was older. I don't know if you caught that.
Like
Scar said,
Mufasa,
"I'm
yeah.
older," but I guess they like, fought for power or whatever. That's what he
Spoiler.
implemented.
Scar was the
Spoiler.
brains, but like
That's not a
Mufasa
spoiler.
was the brawn.
Yeah.
Mufasa was like
And it seems like Mufasa was younger, and he kind of addressed it in the live action.
yeah.
like in
Anyways,
Step
there's
Brother.
a lot of problems with Lion King, but I just thought that was like, just reading up and seeing all this stuff about it, I just thought it was interesting how like that story holds, you know, like such a deep place for a lot of kids and even adults now. But
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
there's
that's
so
what
much
you think.
corruption with it.
I had such a bad experience like watching The Lion King today, just because so many kids weren't even paying attention to the actual movie and just complained like, "Oh, I want to go home." It's like, then get the heck out of here! Like this is for us. Like
Joey is one of those people that are like still gonna be like 40,
No, like-
50 years old sitting like, this is my childhood, don't ruin this for me.
No, it wasn't even just that. They were like Kangaroo Jack kicking the back of my seat like I was on an airplane for like a 6-hour flight to Phoenix. Like, and it was just
On
like it was
Spirit.
so
Like, you know how Toy
annoying.
Story
Whoa,
4
Spirit's
just came
hype.
out?
Yeah.
Like, there's kids that weren't alive when Toy Story came out.
Yeah.
Dude,
when Toy
like-
Story 2 came out.
I came up singing like "You Got a Friend in Me," and it was just like just having that do 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 do, and just like playing
Joey-
with action figures in my room, just like
What's going on?
He was trying to sound hard, like, yo, I came up like with "You Got a Friend."
no. I wasn't
grew
even
up
trying to
with
sound
this.
hard. I'm just being
I grew
honest.
up with this.
I grew up with that song, and I grew up with like
You ain't grow up with this.
like we're not aiming for the truck. It's like just the whole like Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. Like the whole.
But
like,
what's
Toy
what's
Story
wrong with
series.
like what's wrong with when it comes to Lion King or Toy Story or whatever, when you're seeing something recreated and
It's-
it's not, or you know, Aladdin or whatever, what's wrong with seeing the interpretation that,
Well, like with any remake.
how does it ruin it for you if the original
Well,
still exists?
With any remake, especially with like well-known Disney films, it's really gonna be hit or miss. Like they're either gonna
Like,
do
what's one that you liked?
the one I really liked from like Disney.
You
was
can't think of
prob-
one because you signed them off too early.
No, it's not. That's not it. I think I'm literally like recovering for. I actually like Maleficent.
Oh,
How
yeah,
they like
I heard
redid
those.
the take
Okay.
on Maleficent.
Is
They
that
did-
is that an original Disney thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They,
I thought
they,
it was like
they redid a take from like what would have been Sleeping Beauty and just focused on like the perspective of Maleficent
okay.
and her, like actual tale. And they're actually making a sequel about it, which is gonna be.
So yeah,
which
that
actually
first
looks
one
really
was
good.
amazing.
I
The
liked
second
it.
one looks so good too.
I didn't like Cinderella.
But see, that was a different take on a different subject matter. I think he's asking like, the whole like shot for shot, or maybe not
Like-
shot for shot, but storyline remake.
Are you
of-
asking about the
of,
shot
like-
for shot or just the storyline?
Like
No,
storyline,
I was
right?
just saying. I was just saying that I hear a lot of people say things like, just sign off a movie early because it's like, oh, it's a remake. It's not going to be good because it's going to ruin my childhood.
The remake of The Lion King was great and all, but I just feel like personally, I felt like it was a little rushed compared to the first one. Like they
Okay.
didn't really allow
Yeah,
any
so
more
I
time to
didn't
build
want
it
to
up.
like ruin it for people.
No,
so we don't-
you're good. I mean, it's just like
No, I'm
personally-
saying like I don't want to like get too far into.
No.
it.
I'm not gonna. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I felt it was rushed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into detail. I just felt like it was completely rushed compared to watching like the original cartoon version of it. But Mulan looks really good though. What they're doing with their whole take on that.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
not-
see. We'll
We'll
have
see,
we'll
but
definitely
I-
have to save that for
I'm
another
saying that
podcast.
as-
We don't have enough
Time to go talk about that.
or like just
Context.
information about that yet.
Look, I just hope that if they do Mushu and that, they bring back my man Eddie Murphy and like
I just need
put
a.
him back.
I
in
If
agree.
they don't
That'd
have,
be good.
if they don't
That'd be
have the
good.
song, let's get the.
Let's get down to
Then
business.
I'm out. I'm out.
I'll
To
make
the
a man
thing.
out
I
of
just
you, right?
Yeah, I just need that
The
one song.
Huns.
I need that one song.
Yes.
So recently I saw this clip of a comedian. I think her name is Dina Hashem.
I think
She
that might
was-
be it.
I've never heard of her, but she was on stage and told a joke about the rapper XXXTentacion who had passed away.
XXXtantacion.
Yeah, and she said that her punchline was like, "Oh, that would have made a good." He was going to get money or drop off money. I forget which one it was to someone, and she said that would have made a really good Venmo commercial. And people were outraged about that because they were like, "How are you gonna make fun of somebody's death?" And
Was it like close to the time of his death?
It was recent, and it got pulled from. It was supposed to air, and it didn't get aired, and she apologized for it. But what do you guys think? Like, is that
a
taking
little
it too
lost.
far in a joke, or?
I mean,
is
that's
kind
like
of
dark.
everything-
That's like dark
Is she
humor,
a
right?
dark comedian?
That's like dark humor. Some people get it. Some
Seems
people...
like she's not a dark comedian. That's why it got pulled,
Oh, okay.
right?
Are you saying that?
So is she not?
I'm not sure
Okay.
if she's a dark comedian or not, but I mean, in general, do you think
I
that
mean,
everything is
regardless.
on?
Wait, are you saying
on
that
the
he was going
table?
to drop off money before he
Regardless,
got
just
killed?
because she's not dark humor doesn't mean
And
that
they're
she
going to
can't
make that a
make
Venmo
joke,
commercial.
you know?
I got lost.
Agreed,
Agreed,
but in the setting she is in, I think it is wrong. Like, if she is in a public, right? Like, there's comedians I go to that are dark humor. They make fun of everyone, like, based on deaths or whatnot, and I think it's hilarious. And there's a time and place for that.
Mhm.
But I think, like,
Oh, okay.
in a main,
A time and place.
like, if it's like, a show that, Saturday Night Live, right? If it's Saturday Night Live and then like a death
or a
joke
Kevin
comes
Hart
out,
special.
like if it's where a lot of people watch it and the death joke comes out of nowhere, that might be insensitive to a lot of people and whatnot.
Especially especially with X.
It might
he
be
had
wrong.
lot
I
of
think there's a
big
time and
fans.
place, but I don't know. It just depends who it is.
Yeah.
and-
X had a really
Yeah,
big fan
okay.
base, so I can see.
I think I
where
kind of
would
agree with
play
you
it.
on that. I was kind of like, if like they wanted to make dark humor, go ahead. Like, but I kind of get what you're saying. Like, it depends on the audience, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you're used to seeing, like
Mhm.
regular humor.
Or if you know what you're getting, like you're going into the show knowing.
I didn't know if it
there's
was
gonna be-
also because
dark
it's a
humor.
sensitive time, because I've heard countless jokes about Michael Jackson's death.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hear about other people's death as well, and I don't know if it might be because of the times,
Just Michael
because
Jackson
of the
jokes,
race.
period.
I think that might have a lot to do with it, because there was a lot of, I saw it retweeted by a lot of like rappers and stuff, and they were like, "You can't do this. Like, this is all off limits. You can't touch this."
Like the fact that I haven't heard of this comedian kind of like ties into that a lot too. Like if you're gonna make a joke like that, at least make sure you have the clout to like.
Oh,
Kinda
that's
like
a good
fit it.
point. Say Dave Chappelle had made this
Dave
joke.
Chappelle would have made that joke. Everyone would be laughing, and like
I don't think everyone, but-
not like everyone, but
Yeah.
like there would be like a minimum, like
It
or
wouldn't
like a
be
small.
perceived
There would
the
be like a
same way.
minimal amount of like like people that had been offended. But since like that comedian, like what was the comedian's name?
Dina, I think.
Yeah, since they don't have that much clout,
Mhm.
so like to have that lack of clout and to make a big pack, like a huge packed joke like that, like even though it could be like dark humor, still like not the type of time you want to like be doing that in your career.
Mhm.
That could like honestly like end your career right there as a stand
Yeah.
up.
Speaking of backlash, did you guys hear about Scarlett Johansson?
Oh, are you talking about
No.
Black
no,
Widow?
what happened?
So there's this tweet. I forgot what it was exactly,
Oh, I think I know
but
what
somebody
you're
was like, this character cannot be like of a like you can't change the race of this character or whatnot. You know, like
Talking about Ariel?
No.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was like around that topic though, that conversation.
okay.
And then Scarlett Johansson said, "I should be able to play anybody, right? Like like I should be able to play any
Like how
it-
Robert
it
Downey
shouldn't be
Jr. played a black guy in Tropic Thunder.
exactly like that's what she was kind of saying." And she also played like a anime character that was supposed to be Asian,
Yeah,
Scarlett
like
Johansson.
a
But she was like,
cool show.
if the director thinks I can play any character, I should be able to play any character.
Mhm.
And so the whole internet has kind of like memed her, like you know how the Ariel is like black now.
Yeah.
Someone was
I
saying
like
like.
that,
Her father should be Scarlett Johansson. Like they're just
She could be any
oh, she
character.
could be anything. Like you know, so she's been.
Sorry,
I think that's like an extreme version of like saying, oh, she can play the father. Like I think she's saying like if there's a character that she can, like if there's any role available, and she auditions, she's perfect for it, right? Regardless of race, color, whatever. And the director's like, I want this person. She should be able to do it. People should not be like, you can't do it because you're not black, because you're not, whatever race.
Kind of like Shia LaBeouf.
But I
don't
also
let your dreams
think
be
so. That's also a problem then
Just do it.
on the director, right? If he's casting someone for like, for instance, if Mulan was like Caucasian, right? It would have been outrage.
Yeah,
But
people would
because
get
it's
mad
not
at
the
that.
right casting call, right?
Unless it's
I think
Keanu
it
Reeves.
depends on the subject matter as well.
You said unless it's Keanu Reeves.
I feel like Keanu Reeves would just no one would get mad.
Do you agree? Like the
at
subject
Keanu
matter
Reeves
and
playing anyone?
like the audience.
I think the people are confused about why they are upset about it. I think that there's two parts to it. Where are that like is that race of people or that gender of people or whatever it might be not getting roles period in the first place, or is it that you just don't want to see this person portray that person? Meaning, I'll give you an example, like within our community, the South Asian community, right? We don't see a lot of our people on film period, like on the big screen, right? So if our roles are being taken in that way, that's kind of annoying, because it's like, bro, we're not even getting normal roles and now we're getting casted in other ones. Now say there are gay people or transgender people that fulfill roles for
LGBTQ.
straight roles, okay, and they're getting roles. I don't know if this is true or not, but say they are getting roles, and then you have Jared Leto portray a transgender, was it? I think so.
Yeah, I feel honestly say Robin Williams playing like a gay man who owns a drag queen bar at in the Birdcage in
Okay.
Miami.
So like, what if they portray the character better? However, transgender people or gay people are still getting roles. Then is it still a problem? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I
Okay.
feel like it also kind of like depends on the studio and what direction they're willing to go with the film.
On-
Like especially with Disney, like they're always trying to they're basically a monopoly.
Well,
I
they're
think
also
Rick Walker-
PC. They're also like,
Yeah.
oh, we want to do what's politically correct and what's
Yeah, they want to be extremely political correct when sometimes that kind of doesn't work. That kind of doesn't work out. Like, honestly, I feel like a good example of this. Honestly, I feel like it'd be Cinderella.
But I'm asking as the audience,
Yeah,
what do we want to see? Do we
So-
want to see the best person for that role?
we
or-
want to see our childhood recreated personally. But
You
honestly,
do.
yeah,
Don't speak for all of
look,
us.
I'm not denying that at all.
Like
I'm not
I
denying
think
that
it's
claim at all.
exactly what you're saying. Like if it's a role that like this certain archetype of character, like if it's a brown character, like let's get a brown person for that. However, I am mostly on team Scarlett Johansson. I think she has like the Taylor Swift effect, where like, oh, she's white, she's like up
She
there.
has that clout
so
game, man.
so where a lot of people backlash her and throw her like out. They're like, oh no, you're just like, this is stupid, right?
I got 3 words for
Like
that.
Black Twitter is not.
She's
with
right
her.
though.
Shimmer, I got
I
3
mean,
words.
I
That's
think
what I'm
she's
saying,
right.
Like,
But
it's not
Black-
a good argument to say they're doing this, so why can't I? But at the same time, she is right. Like nobody talks about the men when they do it.
And I got 3 words that can relate to that. Haters are gonna hate. Haters are gonna hate.
And like Black Twitter like is like canceling
Oh
her
my gosh.
basically, like
Okay.
or all of Twitter.
I'm
is canceling
sick
her.
of them doing
And
cancelings,
and
man.
I am like honestly team Scarlett Johansson, but she has that like
Scarlett's
Taylor
right.
Swift effect, you know, like everyone like hates her
Yeah.
for no
Hates her
reason,
for-
even though they
yeah.
don't really like, know why. They just
Automatically sign her off.
Or
sign
just
her
like
off.
Chris Brown,
And I'm
too.
like, no,
Okay.
like why? Like
Mm.
you know, if she does make the, and we also talked with that director. He was like, if I find somebody, he had a Pakistani dad. He casted like some other brown person because he couldn't find a Pakistani dad that fit that role. He found
Yeah.
someone better, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
And I think his point was great, where he mentioned that like, okay, like I'm not going to take an extreme thing on that, and he mentioned like Scarlett Johansson playing an Asian character. He thought that like, you know, he doesn't really know where the line is with that, but he was saying like, if I have somebody who really has an accent, but they don't play the role as well, but someone who can fake an accent that plays it better, yeah, I'm gonna take that guy. And I think that's a great point, because like you want the movie to be good at the end of the day.
I have
Tom Holland
one
Spider-Man.
more topic regarding movies. I know this whole podcast is movies, but I saw the movie yesterday. Have you guys heard about that movie?
It's called
I
Yesterday?
heard that was a really good movie.
The Beatles one?
The Beatles one.
Okay.
Yeah, with Ed
How was
Sheeran.
it?
Basically, it's a guy.
Ed Sheeran is in it.
Ed Sheeran's in it.
Ed Sheeran's in it.
As well as I
it's,
think
it's
Amy
about a
Poehler.
guy, and like
No.
he gets hit by a bus, and basically
Poehler.
everyone forgets the Beatles songs except for this guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so he's the only one who remembers the Beatles song, starts playing it, and gets really famous off of it, right? Because the songs are so good. So this main character is actually brown, right? And like his parents are brown and whatnot. But there was not a single word that mentioned Pakistani, Indian, nothing about his race. He was just a normal character.
Yeah, literally. Wasn't he from Britain too?
So it wasn't like a
did he,
stereotypical
like,
role,
live in Britain?
essentially.
Are you
It
sound
was not a stereotypical
you sound
role.
upset
Okay.
about it?
No, I'm like amazed.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Oh,
like,
okay.
he was just he
They didn't just put it out there.
he
like
could have
they-
been white. He could
Yeah.
have been black. He could have been this.
So you're just happy that like
You're happy that they didn't
Whoa,
just
just a
like put it
normal-
out there through the script.
Yeah, he's just like a normal dude. Like his parents, they were both Indian,
And
but they
supportive.
had British accents.
Mhm.
They had like British accents, no like fake
Like
Indian
Bohemian
accent.
Rhapsody.
Like exactly, but that was prevalent that
Yeah.
he was Indian. But there was no mention that he was Indian,
Yeah.
Pakistani, not his religion.
Like they did
Nothing
that
was
in
mentioned. He
Bohemian.
was just a normal character.
That makes me happy.
Well,
Like they
that's awesome.
they did that in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, they
They
mentioned
did the
his
opposite of that in
past.
Bohemian Rhapsody, should I say?
Yeah. I want to hit on one last topic before we end this off. We're I think an hour in. It's about signing people off, and it's recent, so I wanted to talk about this. A lot of people sign off Donald Trump, obviously,
Yeah.
and Kanye West too. And recently,
Like Kanye, man.
ASAP Rocky was recently put into jail in Sweden.
Yeah, he was detained.
So what happened was apparently Trump spoke to Kanye, and Kanye vouched for him, and now Trump is trying to talk to the Swedish Prime Minister, who he calls very talented, in his tweet to try to get ASAP Rocky out.
So
Why was
was
he
it Trump
detained?
that approached Kanye, or Kanye approached Trump?
I'm not sure which way it was, but I know that
Because that
came
makes
into
a
Kanye's.
difference.
I think it's Kanye approached Trump.
See, that makes a
It
difference.
sounds like
but
Kanye
But
approached
Trump also heard a lot from like
Other-
noise, just from
okay.
noise.
Just
Gotcha.
from, on social media
Okay.
too.
Like,
I heard.
So,
I'm not
he's
sure if this is
apparent-
true, but Melania had mentioned it to him, and then
Maybe
and then it got
Ivanka
carried from
too.
there.
Yeah. So ASAP Rocky was detained because there was a group of kids that were like following him in Sweden, and they were like touching girls and like inappropriately and whatnot. And I don't know what exactly happened, but I think he was just following ASAP Rocky and like touching girls on the way, like while following him. And so ASAP Rocky was like, "Yo, that's not cool. Like, stop doing that." And they just kept bugging ASAP Rocky, which eventually got into a fight.
Like a physical altercation.
Physical fight, and he like beat the crap out of him, and then he got detained. I don't
If
know.
that's what really happened,
I don't know the
good
ins
for
and
ASAP Rocky.
Yeah, so a lot of people are Team ASAP Rocky. I don't know the ins and outs. Maybe something else
I
happened in
still
the
love-
middle.
like-
But a lot of people are actually now not Team ASAP Rocky
Dude,
because they're finding
Why is
old
that?
tweets,
If I may, like,
old messages saying like, "Oh, I've never, Black Lives Matter. Like, I was never part of that movement, so I can't rap about that." And like,
well, like
and-
personally, like if I may, Shamir, I remember when ASAP Rocky dropped his first studio album. I was like really impressed by how he like delivered messages and everything, and how he like released his music and kind of like created his own kind of wave. And I mean, personally, I'm also a person that would like let the past be the past. So if he wasn't really with the Black Lives Matter movement, I mean, that's
But that's a
just like,
that's a personal thing.
like
That's
it's a personal thing. Like, don't hate him because like that's his choice to
But,
not
but
be
he,
part
he
of
was
that.
also
people-
saying like, I don't
like-
understand like people that like get into jail and like whatnot. That's just not my lifestyle, and that's why I don't rap about those things.
Well,
and
I
so
mean-
people were like,
So-
"Oh, now you know how it feels." Like,
Hmm.
Oh,
That's
like,
So,
interesting.
yeah, like-
so people are like kind of happy that he went into jail so
That
they can like
experienced it.
a little
experience
bit,
it.
a little
It's
bit.
the
That's kind of
system, man.
stupid though, because like they want what the audience like, or the people that are there, they want him to rap about that kind of stuff. So
they
they're, like,
want
kinda-
him to
they're
fit the
happy
mold.
for like him
Well,
getting
no,
in jail.
I think that what they're getting at is that like he wasn't ever a part of the movement, or he wasn't like
but
supportive.
that's a personal choice, right?
And
It's a personal choice. I mean,
That's
that's
Sure,
a personal
I think that
choice.
I get what they're saying though, like that they want him to stand with them, and now they have to stand for him.
You forgot to include the
And-
easy part of it. That's why it was.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
and then G-Eazy was
Was he there
detained.
with him?
No. This is completely like last year. G-Eazy was detained in Sweden too, and I think he had like coke and all this stuff, and he was like
Really?
let out. How quickly? Like pretty quickly.
Oh man, that's just
And-
a system.
And so then
That sounds like the system.
G-Eazy said like, hey, himself, like, this is a race issue. Like, I was let out and I had way worse like charges and way worse reasons to be
Yeah,
in there.
like-
And ASAP Rocky's still in there.
Okay.
Like I was gonna say, it's a crooked system. It's the system's been crooked for decades, and it's still crooked. It still angers a lot of people, which is why like the Black Lives Matter movement was such a big deal. Like not just on the news and everything, but also like on social media. Like started with like out since for like in Maryland and everything. Freddie Gray became like a huge thing with Freddie Gray, then Charleston, and now honestly with like going into like mediums and everything, just ASAP Rocky.
So
Like it's crooked no matter where you go, because it's not just like American
So-
American artists.
So what exactly was it? Was there a question that you were asking?
Well, I was getting at this, like about
Even Shaq West, man.
when people, you know, have their opinions about, for example, Donald Trump or whatever, right? Now, like I don't think we have mentioned plenty of times, and we don't agree with what Trump stands for and a lot of things that he says. However, like I noticed that out of many celebrities, Kanye and Kim have been literally getting work done through Trump, and I don't think that you know, Kanye and Kim necessarily agree with, or at least Kim doesn't agree with a lot of what Trump stands for. However, they are still willing to try to do what they can with their power,
Their influence.
and their influence to sort of, you know, help their friends out or help people out that are reaching out to them. And I just thought that was interesting about, like, you know, a lot of other celebrities that are just kind of like, you know, this president is canceled and won't ever like attempt anything, go to the White House, have a conversation with them. And what this is like, I think the way that Kanye talks about Trump, I think that Trump appreciates that, and he calls him his friend. Right, he's
Like, isn't Kanye the only like rapper that's actually tried to reach out to the president? 'Cause
I don't know if he's the only one, but
he's
if you
the
think
most
about it,
successful.
he's the most successful rapper
And
that's
Kim.
reached out to him. And I honestly, if you're gonna try to get something done, especially if if you're in the black community, you should try to reach out to people with a high stature or like definitely like a high power.
well,
I'm
not just
saying
about black community. I'm just saying
Well,
in
it's just
general
like-
about like
They have a lot
no
of
matter who
influence.
you
They
are.
have a lot-
like-
they have a lot of pull.
It seems
they
like
have a lot
regardless
pull.
of their personal opinions, they know how to play politics.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's what
And
most.
that's what
Which one
I don't
politics
think
are.
they have
right?
a lot
I think
of
you're
pull.
getting at like most others. They won't even attempt the political side. They'll just completely shut it out.
Because we're not all politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, right.
However, I think
I
that
hate
it's
politics
important
personally.
to. I definitely learned a lot from the situation, and that's what I was trying to get at. Is like, that is what politics is. You don't have to agree with what the person is doing, but you know, he's not. If he is gonna be impeached, I don't know that, but even if he is, he's not impeached right now. And right now, the problems that are occurring, what can we do to try to solve them? And I think that I have to credit Kanye and Kim
Yeah, much respect.
for
People underrate
doing
Kim
that.
too.
And
They
I
always
think
just kind of relate her to her kind of like time when like she had like a whole Ray J video like circling around. Like she, I gotta bring it up. When you mention
No.
Kim K, you gotta
No.
bring up when
But,
she was acting
okay,
like a
I
dirty.
don't
honestly-
think you have to.
Honestly, the biggest thing with Kim is like her going to law school and doing all that, and
Yeah.
trying to you know, get people that are incarcerated, and she's working on like that side.
the whole Jay Z
and
meat mill reform.
Before, like even with Kanye, like there wasn't really much like political thing. He just kind of was like supporting and stuff. But now he's like, it seems like he's actually like doing something with his like relationship or power, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
Um,
I want to say that that's like a good sort of full circle towards this podcast too. Is that like,
Yeah.
what?
No, it's just I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, you don't even know what
I don't know what
yet.
you're gonna say, so I can't say anything.
I was gonna
I don't
say
know
that
what's
like.
going on with the full circle.
with
Yeah.
I'm
so
just
many-
ad-libbing. I'm just
with-
ad-libbing.
Thank you for the ad libs.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of the guests that we've had on are a lot of times that we don't even know what they're gonna be like, and sometimes we have conversations before like I can't believe we're having this guest on. Like I wonder what it's gonna be like, and at the end of it, it always is this sort of like beautiful experience of like, wow, I can't believe that it was, we had this conversation and they were really like this and we agree on so much. And a lot of times, like, we're just sitting there talking for a long time, and it's really about like just having that conversation and being on the same level as someone. And I think with Trump, Kanye, I don't know, I don't think Kanye understands this, but I think that the way that they work is that because he has credited Trump for doing what he has, because he favors him, Trump feels like, oh, like, I'm pumped up now because this guy likes me. I'll listen to what he has to say. And if you're somebody, even in politics, even in Congress, who speaks to Donald Trump with
some kind of positivity, he doesn't have a lot of like,
I was gonna say with a negative attitude, because a lot of them speak, like Hillary Clinton, the way that she might speak to Trump, like he doesn't even want to hear what she has to say. And if you want to play politics, I think that you have to do that. And that's kind of a good rule of life, right? Like if you want to get it your way or get your
suck up to them.
Suck up to
You
them.
gotta gas him. You gotta be the bigger person in this situation.
But sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I know what you mean.
You really gotta be
with
the bigger
Trump,
person in this situation.
it's like more prevalent too, because a lot of people are publicly against him, even that are like up there with him, Congress and other celebrities. But with him, it's like one person gasses him up and he's like, oh, you're my friend. But then that's like kind of like a mutual relationship.
But it's getting stuff done.
Yeah, it's
and
like
that's
a good relationship.
That's what's pretty cool.
Have y'all realized that Kanye, Trump, and Darth Vader all had the same facial expressions?
What?
Just want to put
Joey.
that out there.
No, they don't. Okay.
They I swear they always have like the same face all
Doesn't
the time.
Darth Vader have a mask? How is that possible?
Exactly. Just
Thank you.
go with it.
On that
Just go
note,
with it.
we are out of time for today. We'll continue on the next podcast with some more things to talk about. And if you want to, what'd you say?
Okay, say hopefully she's gonna be back. So I'm just
Amber?
a temp. Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully Amber gonna be back, man. I'm just a temp.
Yeah, and if you guys want us to talk about certain things, of course, feel free to reach out to us on our social media at Strange Flavors. Send us an email, strangeflavorspodcast@gmail.com, or leave a comment below on this YouTube video. We want to thank you again for listening to another episode of Strange Flavors. It's been another week.
Another flavor.
A little less stranger.
Hey,
Hey, I got it. Let's go.
We'll talk to you next time.
Never slowing down, riding through my town. Sunrise lifting up a smile from a frown. Raising like a tree that just started in the ground. Man, I used to be